Welcome back, Deep Divers. Today, we're going deep into the world of optimization. You sent over some fascinating research on how some pretty advanced algorithms are being used, to solve these really complex problems in finance and trading and even, get this, global trade policy.
Yeah, and it's not just about, eking out a few extra percentage points here and there. This research is really looking at how we can leverage the power of computation, shall you potentially find solutions that humans might never even think of.
It's like we're unlocking like a whole new level of problem solving. You know what I mean? Okay, so you sent over these research papers that cover like 4 main areas where optimization is really making a difference. I'm ready. Hit me.
All right, let's dive in. We'll explore how these cutting-edge optimization techniques are being applied to, well, first portfolio management, then algorithmic trading and market forecasting, and then, believe it or not, even international trade.
Okay, let's start with, I think, something that's on everyone's mind, building a better portfolio. We all want to get the most out of our investments right, maximize returns while minimizing risk.
Of course, and that's precisely the goal of portfolio optimization. But traditional methods, well, they can be a bit limited. They might miss out on some
potentially better solutions.
So what's the alternative? How can algorithms improve on what traditional methods can do?
Well, this research proposes a hybrid algorithm that combines 2 powerful techniques: particle swarm optimization, PSO, and simulated annealing, or
SA.
Okay, those are some pretty complex concepts. Break them down for me a little.
Sure. So think of PSO as a way to explore this vast landscape of possible asset combinations. It's like sending out a swarm of these particles to search for areas with high returns and manageable risk.
Okay, I get that. But how do we know that we're finding not just a good solution, but like the best possible solution?
That's where SA comes in. It's all about refinement. So
SA
it takes the solutions that PSO has found and it makes these small adjustments. It tests and refines each change to make sure that we're squeezing out, every last bit of performance.
So it's about balancing exploration with refinement. I'm curious, though, how does this approach actually perform in the real world?
Well, the research suggests that this PSOSA algorithm, it's incredibly effective. For example, in one study, it generated portfolios with 10% higher returns for the same level of risk compared to those traditional portfolio optimization methods.
Wow, 10% that's significant. So we're not just talking about portfolios that could be more profitable, but also more resilient, right? Especially when the market gets volatile.
Exactly. And here's what's even more impressive. It can handle all those real-world constraints, that often trip up traditional models.
What kind of constraints?
Well, things like transaction costs, right? You don't want to lose all your gains to fees. Limits on how many different assets you can hold, or even restrictions on investing in specific sectors. The algorithm takes all of these into account to make sure the portfolio is both optimal in theory, but also feasible, in practice.
So it's not just a generic solution, it's personalized.
That's a great way to put it. It's about personalization and real-world applicability, which is a significant advancement in portfolio management.
Okay, so we've optimized our portfolios. Now let's talk about putting those investments to work. What about algorithmic trading? What can optimization offer there?
This is where genetic algorithms, or GAs, really come into play. Imagine an algorithm that can actually evolve trading strategies. It learns and adapts based on its past performance.
Okay, hold on. That sounds kind of scary. Are we talking about self-aware trading bots here?
Not quite, but it is a fascinating concept. So GAs, they mimic natural selection. You start with a population of different trading strategies, and each strategy is encoded as a set of rules.
And those rules would be things like what? Buy and sell signals, or risk management, or maybe technical indicators?
Exactly. The GA tests these strategies against historical market data, and it evaluates their performance. How profitable were they? How much risk did they take on? How many trades were executed?
So the best performing strategies, those are the ones that get to, reproduce.
Precisely. The algorithm combines elements of the successful strategies to create new ones, and it also introduces mutations, which are basically random changes. This allows the GA to explore new possibilities, and then this entire process, it repeats over and over again. Over time, the GA refines and optimizes these trading strategies.
So it's like survival of the fittest, but for trading algorithms.
That's a good way to think about it. And what's remarkable about GAs is that they can identify these subtle patterns and market inefficiencies that human traders, they might just completely miss.
So they're not just faster, they're actually seeing things that we don't.
Exactly. That's right. And this research really highlights the potential for GAs to revolutionize algorithmic trading. We're talking about more sophisticated, more adaptive, and potentially much more profitable trading strategies.
This is mind-blowing. Okay, so we've optimized our portfolios and we've created these awesome algorithmic trading strategies. What's next?
Well, let's move on to another area where, well, everyone wants an edge, predicting the market's next move.
Oh, yeah, if only we could figure that out right. So how are we using optimization to get better at forecasting the market?
Well, this research looks at a hybrid approach, combining a genetic algorithm with particle swarm optimization. But this time, we're using them to build a more accurate and robust forecasting model.
Okay, remind me again, what are GAs good at?
Genetic algorithms are really good at sifting through massive amounts of data and then identifying the factors that are the most important for making predictions.
So in this case, the GA would be trying to figure out which factors actually have a strong influence on market movements.
Exactly. Think about everything from those traditional economic indicators and company financials, but then also less conventional data like social media sentiment or news trends or even weather patterns. It lets the data reveal what's important rather than limiting ourselves to just what we as humans might think matters.
And PSO, how does that fit in?
PSO is all about fine-tuning. Once that GA has identified the important ingredients for our forecasting model, PSO comes in to adjust the model's parameters, making sure it's making the most accurate predictions possible.
Like finding the perfect recipe for predicting the market.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. What's really interesting is that this approach, this hybrid approach, can be used with all different types of forecasting models, whether it's a simple linear regression or maybe a complex neural network. The GA and PSO work together to really tailor that model to the specific forecasting task at hand.
So it's about finding the right combination of inputs and then fine-tuning the model to get the best possible accuracy.
That's it. And the research suggests that this can significantly improve forecasting accuracy, which could lead to, much better investment decisions.
That's huge. Imagine having a more reliable way to anticipate those market trends. Okay, so we've covered optimizing portfolios, trading strategies, market forecasting. What's the final frontier in this research?
All right, this is where things get really interesting. We're going to step into the world of international trade and the often controversial topic of trade tariffs.
Ooh, tariffs. That can definitely spark some debate. What role can optimization play in something like that?
Well, the research suggests using genetic algorithms to design tariff structures that benefit national economies without starting trade wars.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying we can use algorithms to actually optimize trade policy? How does that even work?
Well, the idea is to use a computational model to simulate these complex interactions between trading partners. It takes into account, things like import and export volumes and price elasticities and how other countries might react to them if we change our tariff rates.
So it's like a giant strategy game. But instead of humans moving the pieces around, it's an algorithm trying to predict the best outcome.
Exactly. So the GA is used to find the best tariff rates for a given country. The goal is to maximize those economic benefits, like overall welfare or trade balance, while minimizing, of course, any negative consequences.
Okay, but setting tariffs is incredibly complicated, right? There are so many different products and potential reactions to consider. Can an algorithm really handle all of that?
Well, that's the beauty of GAs, right? They're great at tackling complex problems with lots of different variables. So in this case, the GA is searching for the best combination of tariff rates across, potentially hundreds or thousands of different product categories.
So it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but the needle is this perfect set of tariff rates that makes things better for everyone.
That's a great way to put it. And the potential here is enormous. Imagine going beyond political rhetoric and actually using data and algorithms to inform those trade policy decisions.
It's a whole new way of thinking about trade.
Right.
Really fascinating. Okay, so we've covered optimizing portfolios, trading strategies, market forecasting, and even global trade. What would you say is the biggest takeaway from all of this research?
It's tough to choose, but I think it's the sheer breadth of applications. It shows how these computational methods can offer completely new perspectives and potentially much more effective solutions across so many different areas.
I'm definitely seeing the world in a new light after diving into this research. It's clear that we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible with optimization.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's worth looking at some of the more intriguing details of this research, like going back to that portfolio optimization algorithm. One of the things that really stood out to me was its ability to handle multiple objectives at the same time.
So we're not just talking about maximizing returns and minimizing risk anymore. What else can it do?
Well, investors often have other goals too. They might want to minimize those transaction costs we talked about, or maybe invest in companies that, align with their values or target specific sectors. These are all things that traditional portfolio optimization really struggles with.
So how does the algorithm juggle all of those different goals at once?
Well, it uses something called a Pareto frontier. Imagine a graph, right, where one axis is returns and the other is risk. The Pareto frontier is this curve on the graph that represents all the solutions, where you can't improve one objective without making the other worse. It's all about balance.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where you're getting the best possible outcome across all of your goals.
Exactly. And the PSO-SA algorithm, it can effectively explore this Pareto frontier. It helps investors pinpoint portfolios that really align with their specific needs and preferences.
That's a level of personalization that we just haven't seen before in portfolio management.
And this ability to handle multiple objectives, it's not just limited to portfolio optimization either. It plays a key role in that research we were talking about earlier with the evolving algorithmic trading strategy.
Oh, right. The genetic algorithm approach. I'd love to hear more about how it handles all the complexities of the trading world.
Well, one of the biggest challenges in algorithmic trading is that the market is always changing. Like what works today might not work tomorrow.
Yeah, it makes it so hard to, consistently outperform the market, even for those, seasoned traders.
Exactly. And that's where the power of genetic algorithms really shines, right? Yeah, it can constantly adapt and evolve those strategies as new market data becomes available.
It's not like a one-time optimization, It keeps learning.
Yeah, that's right. The research suggests that if you re-evolve those strategies periodically, maybe every quarter, every year, you can actually maintain a consistent advantage in the market.
So it's like having this algorithm that's always fine-tuning itself, always trying to stay one step ahead. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic approach. It mirrors how constantly things are shifting in financial markets. It's one of the things that makes genetic algorithms so well suited to this kind of to algorithmic trading.
It makes you wonder if we'll even need human traders at some point, Okay, let's move on to that research on optimizing trade tariffs. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how an algorithm can even grapple with something that's so politically charged as trade policy.
Yeah,
It's definitely a unique application of optimization techniques, but setting tariffs is really all about balancing a lot of competing interests, and that's where genetic algorithms can be really helpful.
You've got domestic industries that, want protection, consumers who want affordable goods, and then of course you've got governments trying to manage all of these complex geopolitical relationships.
Precisely, and it's a delicate balancing act, right? With huge economic and political implications, genetic algorithms can they can help policymakers explore a much wider range of options, potentially finding solutions that lead to a more favorable outcome for everyone involved.
So instead of making those decisions based on intuition or, just political pressure, we can use data and algorithms to sort of navigate those complexities of trade policy. That's a good idea. But what about the fact that, other countries might retaliate if we change our tariffs? We're not operating in a vacuum here.
That's a crucial point, and the research actually addresses that. The model that they use actually incorporates the concept of retaliation. It simulates how other countries are likely to respond to changes in our tariff policy.
So the algorithm is it's playing a game of strategy, trying to anticipate the other player's moves.
exactly.
And taking those potential responses into account, the GA can identify tariff structures that are not only beneficial for the domestic economy, but also less likely to trigger those damaging trade wars. It's all about finding those win-win solutions.
That's incredible. It's like we're using algorithms to de-escalate global conflict. I think one of the most striking things about all this research is that it really highlights the potential for algorithms to really augment human decision making in a really positive way.
I couldn't agree more. We're not talking about replacing human expertise, but rather providing new tools that can They can help us make better, more informed decisions in these really complex environments.
And that's true whether we're talking about, personal finance or those really complex trading strategies or forecasting the market or even something as complex as international trade.
Absolutely. It's about, harnessing the power of computation to enhance our understanding of the world and make those smarter choices.
Yeah, one of the big takeaways for me from this deep dive is that, we're really just starting to understand what's possible with optimization.
I completely agree. As computational power continues to grow and algorithms get even more sophisticated, who knows what kind of breakthroughs, are waiting for us.
It's exciting and a little bit scary all at the same time.
It is.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, optimization is changing how we solve problems across a huge range of fields.
And we're only at the beginning of this journey.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what new and innovative applications come out in the coming years. It's definitely a journey worth following.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from optimizing personal portfolios to, exploring how algorithms could even help shape global trade. But before we wrap up, I'm curious, what stood out to you as the most, I don't know, surprising or thought-provoking finding from all of this?
What really struck me was the potential for these algorithms to uncover solutions that go beyond what we might intuitively consider, as humans. It's a reminder that we often limit ourselves by our own preconceived notions and biases.
So you're saying that, these algorithms can actually think outside the box and come up with solutions that we might never have even, considered.
Exactly. And that's what I find so powerful. By embracing these computational tools, we can really open ourselves up to a whole new world of possibilities.
It's almost like we're expanding our own cognitive abilities using the power of computation to augment our own intelligence.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about pitting humans against machines. It's about humans and machines working together, collaborating to achieve greater understanding and solve some of the world's most challenging problems.
I love that perspective. It's not about competition. It's about collaboration.
Precisely, and that's what makes this research so exciting. It points toward a future where humans and algorithms work together, in synergy to push the boundaries of what's possible.
I'm already eager to see what new breakthroughs come out of this field. This deep dive has given me so much to think about.
It's really opened my eyes to the power of optimization and its potential to really transform the world around us.
It has for me too. We've explored how optimization is being used in finance and trading and global trade policy, but what other areas of our lives could benefit from this approach, right? What challenges could we potentially overcome if we really embraced the power of computational optimization? It really makes you think.
It really does, and that's the beauty of a deep dive like this. It challenges us to think differently and to imagine those new possibilities.
This deep dive has definitely done that for me. It's been a fascinating journey. So to our listeners out there, I encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking those questions, keep learning, and keep an open mind. Who knows what incredible breakthroughs, we might discover together.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It feels like we're really, on the edge of this whole new way of solving problems, where computation isn't just like a tool, it's more like a partner.
I know, right? And then to get more comfortable working with these algorithms, I think we'll see them applied to even more things, things like healthcare and climate change, even urban planning and social justice.
The potential impact is just huge.
It is. It really shows how clever humans are, that we've developed these powerful tools.
But
now it's up to us to use them wisely.
That's such a good point. It's not the technology itself, it's all about how we choose to use it.
I totally agree. And I think, if we embrace these advances in optimization, we can create a more prosperous and sustainable future for everybody.
This whole deep dive has been like a real eye-opener for me. It's amazing how far we've come in, using the power of computation.
It really is. It shows the incredible progress is being made in fields like artificial intelligence and machine learning.
It really does make you realize that we're living in a time of just incredible technological advancement.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting time to be alive, to see these breakthroughs and how they're changing the world.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired and kind of overwhelmed at the same time. It's a lot to take in.
I don't mean it is a lot, but that's part of, what makes these deep dives so interesting. It makes us, challenge our assumptions and see what's really possible.
It really makes you appreciate just how complex and interconnected everything is,
It does. And it shows how important it is to stay curious, to never stop learning, never stop growing.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's time for us to come up for air from this deep dive. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
So it's good.
We've talked about how optimization is being used to solve these complex problems in finance and trading and global trade policy. But what other areas of our lives could benefit from this approach? What challenges could we overcome if we really embrace this power of computational optimization? It really makes you think.
That's a great challenge to leave our listeners with. I have no doubt that as we keep, exploring these possibilities of optimization, we're going to find solutions to some of humanity's, biggest challenges.
Well, thank you for joining us on this amazing journey, and keep those sources coming. Until next time, happy optimizing.